Howdy everybody. Hey, today I'm going to talk about a guy asked me to do a video about my knives, and so I will. And what's the best knife? Well, it's I'll go through a history of a bunch of knives I use, but it really it ain't nothing special. It's like anything I tell you in my videos. You can spend a whole lot of money, or you can spend just a little money and get the same results. And I guess I start at the very early on beginning of my hunting career here. And I actually don't have my first knife, but I got some pretty old ones. When I was a kid growing up, we'll find the right one, here we go. When I was a kid growing up, when I say kid now, I'm talking about like 10 or 11 years old. You gotta remember, I'm from the South in the country, and I was toting a gun around by myself by 10, 11 years old. My son killed his first deer with a rifle. I gave him he had a Winchester 30-30 lever action. I gave him a bullet for the gun and a bullet for his pocket. He walked from home and killed his first deer when he was 10. So we were raised, Hank Williams song, we was raised on shotguns, that's truth. And so I was walking around when I was a kid with a shotgun miles from home. But anyway, the knife I had was, there was a little store down the road from my house. I stay out in the country, and it was called Altman's Grocery. And they sold anything you could buy in the country. But they had a little display, and it had pocket knives on it. They were Barlows, and I think it cost maybe $3, something like that. But anyway, that's where I got my first pocket knife at. And it was one just like this. And believe it or not, I mean, my granddaddy, they had case knives and old timers. And so I'm talking about some of the old stuff when they were still made right here in America, and they were fine knives. But the Barlows that I had, they were made in America, or this one, I think it's made in America here. I'm pretty sure it is, Imperial. But anyway, it's, I probably skint. There's no telling. I mean, squirrels, fish, deer, first deer and hogs. I one time won a bet with a guy. I'd killed a deer, and I told him I could take this knife and put that, have that deer skinned, quartered, and in the cooler in 15 minutes. And I won. I did it like in 13 with one of those. And that's kind of, the steel is not the best steel, but you can get it super sharp. And anyway, that was one of the first knives I ever used. And it's like it costs, it's got pocket lint in it. Like it costs $5 or something. I mean, back then it probably cost $3. Now they're not expensive. But that's an old Barlow. A lot of country people use them Barlows. And I have 2 more of them. And I thought that's what a knife's supposed to look like when I was growing up. So I got another one, and these have got wear now. I mean, these are tools, they ain't to look at. Got this one, that's a case Barlow, 1979. That was the year I graduated high school. And that yucker's steel tight. And there's the blade is shaped perfect for skinning. And it's good for skinning small game, and you can skin the biggest deer and the biggest hog in the swamp with that right there. And they small, they don't take up no space in your pocket. You hear that click on this knife is, what is that, 20, like 45 years old. You hear how tight it still is from the wear that's been on it. And it's been toted many miles. That's all you need. I got this one. I can look at the paper here. This Barlow is made by George Westonholme. It's made in 1970. And this guy is from the UK. It's a super, super tight Barlow knife. You can hear it clicking right there. I didn't buy this knife new, I got it. But it's a fine knife, fine knife. I like them little Barlows. Then I probably moved up to the case knife. And this knife has been toted so much. First I'll show you, this is it's an old knife, but it hadn't been carried that much. See the dimples in it right there, in the bone, whatever that is. Look at this one. You can't even see them anymore. It's been toted that much. This knife's been carried many, many miles. And then it got where the blade, it got into the thicker part of the steel and the blade was harder to sharpen. So then here you go. That's what the blade looked like to start with. That's a case right there. This knife, my uncle who taught me how to shoot a bow, R.L. Orvin, when he passed, they wanted me to have his knife. So that's it. Beautiful, beautiful old case. Then I got this knife. I just bought this knife a while back. I hadn't used it. This would be like the perfect knife around here for me, but the only thing that's only got one blade. I don't like that. I want them to have two. That's a case knife. They don't make these anymore, I don't think. And it opens up and has that little guard on it right there. Then when you close it, it's nothing, no edges poking out or anything. It folds in there real smooth. It's really, really good knife right there. And probably if I manage to get 5,000 subscribers, I'm gonna give this one away. And getting pretty close. So one of you guys out there will have this knife. Then after that, I had a couple of these. This is a case, sod buster. And it's the bigger size. Y'all might hear a helicopter over there. And anyway, Alan Oliver, I gave him one of them because he won. We had a spike contest, and he killed the spike with the longest horn. And so it was a fun contest. And ever who won, the other people who entered just gave him a gift of some sort. And I gave him one of these that still had blood on it from skinning deer. And this is a fine skinning knife. It's not a lock blade, perfect size. Got that rounded blade for skinning. Really good knife. Got blood on it now right there. The only thing I don't like about it's not a lock blade, but you know, you be careful with it. You ain't gonna get hurt with it. It ain't skinning and quartering deer or hogs. You never have to put the knife in such a bind that you're gonna get cut, especially if it's sharp, just like this one is. A dull knife is what to put some stitches in you because you got to apply too much pressure. Good sharp knife works, and I don't like one blade. I like two blades because, I mean, I've killed more than one deer a bunch of times, and I've killed 2 or 3 before a few times, deer and hogs together. And by the time you get through running through all them, your one blade is dull. And I don't want to have to be sharpening a knife in the field. So that's the pocket knives, and this is the special one I got here. A good friend, Brandon McLemore, gave me this bow. He came hunting with me, and he gave me this bow for Christmas. I mean, this knife for Christmas. And it's a case trapper. And in my opinion, if you wanted to tote a knife in your pocket, this is the one. For hunting, it's got Lynn on it. Got a good skinning knife here. Got 2 blades, which is perfect. And it's got that little rounded part up there, perfect for skinning. And Brandon, thank you, Brandon, for this knife. But since he gave me this, probably, I want to say 3 years ago maybe, I was actually hunting with a River Cane Air in Stone Point then. I've skinned most everything that I've killed since then with this knife right here. If you want to, guys on a budget, want to buy you one good knife that'll last forever, and you can hand it off to your son, that's the one right there, that case. Kind of cool colors right there, I like that. We'll go to some toting knives right here. I got this knife from Donnie Wilkerson. I got a whole bunch of Donnie Wilkerson stuff right here. I don't know, either he builds good stuff or what. But I got a knife and a bow and a quiver. But he makes these knives. And this is a fine knife right here. I got to clean the blade up. I hadn't had it out of the thing, but this yucker will get some kind of sharp right here. You guys looking for a knife that a regular old guy's made for you? That'd be it right there. He builds a nice quiver too. Hang it on your side there, take it with you. My buddy Jason gave me this knife. And this knife is like scalpel sharp. And I don't know, I couldn't tell you the name of it, he could. But it's got like a hard sheath, like a neck knife type deal. And this is the knife I keep in my pack. And I carried the case that Brendan gave me in my pocket when I'm hunting, but this one's in my pack in case I forget that one, which is going to be extremely rare. If you see me away from work, I got a pocket knife in my pocket and a pistol, so I ain't the guy you want to try to rob. But anyway, thank you, Jason. That's a fine knife right there. Now I've shown these knives before in my videos, and I bought these knives because my uncle, the guy who gave me that knife when he passed, he had these when I was a kid, and he used to let me borrow them, and when I grew up I bought my own set of them. These are case knives, scalpel sharp, and if you want to carry knives like this is perfect right here, because that little knife is good for small jobs, skinning squirrels, whatever, stuff like that. And I mean, I could skin the biggest deer or hog in the woods with that. And the bigger knife, it's good for stuff too. I mean, it's the fine knives right here. If you like to carry one on your belt like that, really, really good knives. This is probably the most special knife, other than the one my uncle gave me when he passed. This is the most special knife I got right here. My cousin gave me this. We grew up together, and he moved off to Alabama. We grew up in our hunting together. And he came and hunted with me. He hunts with a stick bow too. He came hunting with me a couple years ago, and he had this knife made for me. It was made by this guy right here. Y'all see that? I don't know these people, but this is I would think, a pretty costly knife. It's got deer blood on it right there. He gave me this knife, and the next day I killed a deer with a stone point, river cane arrow, and a self bow. And this is the knife. I had it for a day or so, and this is the knife I boned that deer out with. And this is a cool knife to carry right here. I like it. I hunt, when the winter comes and I hunt without carrying so much stuff, I'll put this on my side probably and carry it. So those are my knives right there that I carry. None of them are nothing. I mean, they're all special to me, but none of them are, other than this knife here, I mean, none of them cost a whole lot. But actually this knife here I'm gonna give away on my 5,000 subscribers. That knife's pretty costly, and they don't make them no more. And I'll have to dig into it, but I want to say this knife was made in the 80s, so it's at least 40 years old. But and it's tight. It's not been carried in the woods. But anyway, for you guys that are on a budget, just like me, starting out, and it costs a lot to get into this crap, don't think you got to spend $200 on a knife. You can go down there and get you one of them right there and skin a deer in 15 minutes if you get good at it. But there you go. Somebody asked what kind of knives I use. There's nothing special about them. I try to pack a little bit of stuff and pack light, and I'll show you what's in my. I'm going deer hunting. Today's Tuesday. Deer season comes in on Saturday. I got to work Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Then the next 7 days from now, Lord willing, I'll be hunting. And I'll be carrying this knife Jason gave me in my pack. And I'll be carrying this knife Brandon gave me in my pocket. And that probably won't change all year unless when the weather cools and I get to walking and carry that one on my side. So there you go. That's the kind of knives I use. Deer season's coming up. I'm really happy for that. And I appreciate you guys watching my video. And remember, I ain't trying to bait nobody. I'm just saying I appreciate what everybody does. And when I hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to give a fine knife away to somebody. And so y'all remember, keep the good Lord first, because God is good. Without his blessings and grace, we wouldn't be able to do this kind of stuff. We sitting here talking about deer hunting and knives. I got a bucket full of knives right there. And we live in the best country in the world. We need to start acting like it. See y'all on the next one.